Maybe I need to stop playing these lands as a meme. But everyone loves them so much. Somehow the islands and the swamps are worse, I think, than the other the other colors. Not a single person loves them. Yeah, I don't like them either, but it's just funny to me. They've been pretty fun. I think I'm gonna force this. Mountain, wooded foothills, lightning bolts. Hollow one, maybe? Pretty good. I mill over an Echo. I also discard all of my spells. And there's a Bowmaster in play. And there's Phoenix in the yard. Definitely some good sequences of things that can happen here, though. Why isn't Ponza good right now if Eldrazi's popular? Well, there are other decks in the format. And Ponza's good against basically nothing besides the big mana decks, as usual, right? So they can Phoenix the Marco Sharko here. But its life total is getting pretty low, too. What if they probably don't ignore Tamiyo. Okay, so they hit me for 6 down to 12. They have 10 points of power and play next turn. Have to keep this one. Is Image 3 the Last Horizons product? I don't think we know. Yeah, also about Ponza, like if you want to play a land destruction deck with Utopia Sprawl, you just should play Eldrazi. Which is kind of fucked up that like Eldrazi took the Ponza role in the metagame. Seems unlikely. I don't know. If I was in charge, I would probably not do another Horizon set. Don't know if they're going to come to that conclusion, of course. What about revisiting Ancient Imperasor deck with Mox Opal? Yeah, I was working on that a little bit last night. I mean, if they have another Bowmaster, we can't win anyways. I'm going to sack the clue. Okay, they don't have one somehow. I ended up on just 2 basic islands, right? Yeah. Alright, so an interesting dynamic here. Let's bring in the Deluges. It's like, I think we just cut the Echoes since it seems like the rest of our cards are just good against their deck as normal. But they will do it because of money? Well, they could, but they could also just start printing... like, what I think that they could do, and would make sense for them to do instead, is to just make every set exciting, you know? And just like not Horizon level power, but like try to do it where it's like you have your Universe Beyond sets, which are like a little bit more push, potentially a little bit more hype. If you get like Marvel level stuff, I don't know. I feel like a more like even distribution is ideal. Bluff not having Bowmasters to force to echo is good though. I guess. I mean, I'm just always echoing, but Yeah, like the current strategy of let's make good modern, exactly, good modern playable cards that don't break the format, but are exciting to build around. Like this strategy in standard for me, I think has been something I've preferred to the Modern Horizons system. In fact, like I think Modern Horizons 2 was really important because of the way it stabilized the fire design era, and that was, of course, just so unsustainable. But I think we've outgrown that, and Modern is on like a slow healing journey, and it does not. Like MH3 like ruined all the work that it felt like MH2 had done, in my opinion. Am I excited for new Ugin? I'm not excited for new Ugin. I think that card is not poorly designed, or is poorly designed. As a limited player, would love another Modern Horizons. Well, you'll have sets like you'll have good limited sets again. Crazier feeling the Hollow One loses to single saga pretty consistently. No, I think that seems to be that's something I've heard echoed from the Hollow One gamers is that they can't beat a single saga. I think I counterspell this. Kind of risky for them to cast this against the Bowmaster deck. It won't be Modern Horizons, it'll be Modern Sunset, yeah. Alright, so they bestow Detective's Phoenix. It's 4-5. We draw a Fatal Push. Sorry, I should not have played my land. I think they need to go back to Modern Masters instead of Horizons. So I've heard this sentiment echoed some. I don't exactly get it because those two things are just not even comparable in my opinion. Modern Masters and Modern Horizons. One of them is just something that does not impact that Modern at all in any way. Is just a reprint set, which is fine, but like it's like I don't really understand comparing the two things. They honestly in my mind couldn't be more different, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Nice. Yeah, they've been. I think they've been a good job of like slow reprints in every set, but. Alright, so I could have had a snare. It'd make Muxup was affordable. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like. They drew lightning bolts? Pretty gross. Like, I'm not saying that Modern Horizons sets wouldn't be like a fine thing for them to do, but what I am saying is it's like. I don't understand even comparing them to Modern Horizon sets. It's like. They're just worlds apart in what they are. They're just not even close to being the same thing. One like they're literally polar opposites, and like one is intentionally trying to like course correct and change a modern format and like change it as much as possible in whatever image you want it to do that. The other is here's reprints to encourage people to play the format. They are. I just can't imagine two more different products, and so it's not that I'm against doing more modern master sets, but doing them instead of like normal sets just doesn't. To me, I don't understand. Again, comparing them. Okay, this gives them delirium. We're toasted. Yeah, I agree. I think the ban stabilized the format more than MH3. I disagree more than MH2. But I don't. Maybe you're right. It's tough because MH3 was like the worst era ever. But also like the pre-MH2 era was like also came with like tons of bans. This was a rough time pre-MH2. But I do think it was worse. I do think I do think the MH3 era was worse for whatever that's worth. T Done with the 41 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I think I'll leave this back. Yeah, image 1 sucked, image 2 good, image 2 sucked. Yeah, I had the dragon meme in a recent YouTube video. Yeah, schedule B and R would have helped a lot, so like this is partially to blame. For sure. Okay, Guide Pride. Spike Esper Food is in desperate need of updating. I feel like you say this like every week. I did update the food decks when when Opal got unbanned, and I don't think they're as good as other Urza decks. That was the same. That is still my opinion on the topic here. Yeah, I never updated Sweet's Revenge, but I never also felt like there was anything to update. Like, I couldn't really get excited about it, I guess. It's a good chance I'm wanting to flip the Tamiyo here, but let's see what we draw. Should probably Surveil first, actually. It's kind of nice. Couldn't you push there instead? I did cast the card Fatal Push. I'm assuming this comment is a little bit delayed. What would you have liked me to target with Fatal Push and win? Oh, in response to Thraven Charm? No, Tamiyo still kills my... The Thraven Charm still kills my Tamiyo. It's double the number of creatures. I'll have to take this burden to myself. Yeah, good luck to you. Like, you can go in the Moxford and see, like, what I did with the list, but I mostly just don't think that the food, like, time sieve decks are a particularly good way to build any of these, like, Mox Opal strategies. So both at Tamiyo, putting the Tamiyo to 1 loyalty. Plays another Ocelot Pride. So Tamiyo living is going to be pretty important to not die to all this. But maybe Sheoldred is just going to cook them. Don't think I'm attacking. I discard 3 cards to draw a card here. Uh-oh. Bowmaster Echo could potentially clean this up. I'm assuming they jumped the guide. Target creature gets +1/-1 until end of turn. When it dies under your control this turn, draw 2 cards. What does this card remind me of? Not sure. I guess a dead Tamiyo. Got some more Tamiyos in the deck too. We get to gain a lot of life. I think we have at least one more turn. I could be wrong about that. Obviously triple. Oh, because they have the Ajani token. Yeah. Skull Clamp. Yeah, it's just a Skull Clamp reference. Maybe if I draw untap land Echo and then I get to gain 14. There's a Tamiyo, but I can't flip it because I've already drawn 2. All right, let's keep the show rolling here. I guess they're not unbanning, just giving us that. Well, did anybody think they're unbanning Skull Clamp? That never really seemed like something that they would do. I really, really dislike that Omen is basically the opposite of Adventure, but looks exactly like Adventure. Yeah, I don't feel super passionately, I guess, about this point, but I agree it's a little confusing. Back to the Spellbomb, I think. It would be nice to have Jitte punishing fire and Skull Clamp at the format at the same time. I mean, I know we've mused a little bit about Skull Clamp in the past, and I've even, I think, said that I do think Skull Clamp is a little bit overrated in the sense of like how drastic a card that people think this is, but I don't foresee Skull Clamp being a safe unban. And I've kind of mused in the past about how I've never played with Skull Clamp outside of Cube, so I don't really know how good or bad it is, but yeah, there's a good chance I'm just going to probably Echo next turn. So this would be 9 extra power on top of this. 10 if I can discard the Counterspell, so that would be 1 short. There's been a lot of conversation about the new blue land. Okay, I guess withdrawing Counterspell, we're just going to wait a turn. There's been a lot of conversation about that card. I don't think it's going to be a big impactor in the modern format. They have Thraben Charm to exile my graveyard, maybe? So I'm going to put this on the stack. And then discard the Tamiyo. Wait, hold a Counterspell for... I guess I don't know what removal spell they could have. Thraben Charm doesn't work. Discharge doesn't work. Double Discharge would work. I think that the downside of like losing this game is not worth the upside of getting an extra counter. It stops my Belcher from getting inside. You're playing a land in Belcher. Eat the lands in the graveyard. That's pretty good. So they just get discharged for 3 energy here. I'm going to still play around second discharge. Or third, I guess. Thraben Charm? Orim's Chant. Can't attack, can't quest spells. Okay, so I just counter this and win. Again, this is a big part of the reason why to be on this plan instead of Days Undoing. In Before Solitude. Yeah, 1, but it'll be in play stopping my Belcher from getting countered, so I win. You don't play... I feel like that could be okay. It's also costs you 2 extra mana. You just play Defense Grid if you want to play an anti-counterspell card that costs 2 mana, but makes you 2 turns faster. And doesn't cost you to play a land in your deck. Is it better to win the game or draw an extra card? I'll draw an extra card, but winning the game is okay too. It's a bit. Well, I can't really tell because like I've had so many questions about this land that it seems like people think this card is going to be a huge impactor on the modern format. I think it'll be okay. Because he didn't show and tell. Yeah, I mean, I know 2 extra mana in Legacy is so much, but yeah, maybe. Like, I think it will see some play, this new land, but I don't think it'd be a big deal. Okay, I'm gonna try to save our Bowmaster for that. Might end up getting basic Swamp, so I think we play the Mire. There's a new land that enters untapped and taps for blue if you have a mountain or a forest, and you can spin the blue and tap it to make your next spell uncounterable. And the card is remotely playable. I mean, it's a card that I'm going to keep in my mind when I'm brewing, and I will include in my decks occasionally. But yeah, I agree that I don't think it's like it's not doing a lot. All right, I think I'm not playing around Blood Moon. Could maybe counter Blood Moon, but making show and tell 2 extra mana, not entering untapped with Ancient Tombs, hard sell. I see. Yeah, Besage You Who Shelters All, is gonna be, I think, better, for instance, in sorceries and Dude, Bombardment is hard to play through. Think I should do this though. Oh. Tried to Bowmaster the Bombardment. Definitely attacking with both. My opponent can trade this cat token for either of my creatures at any time. Yeah, I think the black one will end up being better than the blue one, I agree. Can you explain why you didn't counter there as the damage is too much? Well, I'm falling pretty behind on board if I counter there. Like, they get an extra token on the cat. If I just Bowmaster, then I still have this counterspell in my hand for, like, a Seasoned Pyromancer or a Ranger Captain or, like, you know, that 4-mana Saga card, just whatever. And on this current board, the Bombardment isn't doing very much. But in general, yes, the Bombardment I know is very scary. Although I feel like I have some like if I get a Psychic Frog, I could like the Bombardment is like a lot less scary potentially. So this was my reasoning for not countering. I think if you wanted to counter there, it would have been totally fine. My pushes are like definitely a lot worse. I wonder what they're hasting here. Nothing. Land. Seems good enough to keep on top. We can cycle it aggressively and like a future Flage won't be as big a deal. The Counterspell Dragon is interesting, but the body seems not good enough. Yeah, I think so too. It's not an adventure either, so it's like just not really considerable. If it was an adventure, I think it would be pretty good. If you could go counter, then just have a okay creature later. So this is going to have to be a Fatal Push card. So this means my Bowmaster now dies. So I'll probably start leaving this Orc army back for the cat. And then we'll sack the Spellbomb end of turn, I think. I think so. Like if I drew a Psychic Frog, or maybe even Bowmaster, I get pretty rewarded. Nice. 2 frogs. Gonna hold up a Counterspell, of course. Wander with the 21 months. Hope you're doing well. I guess we attack with the Orc army now. How valuable is the shuffle effect from open cards? 1 half card or less. 0 cards. Like Green Sun Zenith is not worth half a card. It's not card advantage to shuffle a card back into your deck. This is something you should only really think about in limited and like really grindy matchups potentially. The fact that like you have some degree of inevitability, but in constructed this is worth 0 cards. Just like Scry is also worth 0 cards, by the way, but that's maybe a conversation for a different time. It does thicken your deck. I mean, thicken your deck is not worth a card. Surveilling is 1 card. Surveilling is a card if you put a card in the yard for value. Listen, a card is a card. A surveil is a surveil. A scry is a scry. They're not really that transferable unless you're surveilling a card in the yard that you can use for value. That's kind of the only time. Yeah, it's kind of the only time. They have another spell, a Galvanic Discharge. I guess I could have saved. Don't think I'm keeping my Toxic Deluge. Just gonna probably discard the Delta and the Deluge here. So they're dead to my frog next turn. They have no cards in their hand. We've drawn a Narset. So turn off Seasoned Pyromancer, I guess. Listen, you can't discard a Scry to Psychic Frog for a counter. From what I'm hearing is we need draw value points where draw 1 is 1 point. That way we can compare different card filter mechanics. I think that this exercise is not very productive, and it's never been very productive is the point I'm trying to make. But if you feel like you can adequately do that, then go for that. I'll tell you what, I would usually like prefer to draw 2 than scry 30. Assuming like both effects were like in my opening hand, if I could start with 9 cards or 7 scry 30, I guess no, I would scry 30. And I would just build my deck around that, but no, in standard probably too. But in modern, you could do some messed up stuff with free Scry 30. Scry 30 is Demonic Tutor. Scry 30 is way better than Demonic Tutor. It's it's like set up to like experimental frenzy into your deck. Yeah, it's definitely very deck dependent. So K command scry is worth how much cards? Yeah, it's just not worth cards. It's like cards are quantity, scry is quality. Maybe that's a way to think about it. It's like one is quality, one is quantity, and they're just different things. And I think trying to put a number on them is just my main point is just not a very good exercise, which is why it's good to spend so much time on stream about it. Okay, Lush Portico tapped is interesting. Goblin Recruiter in Modern, unironically. Remember I tried to build Snoop. The only time I've ever tried to brew in Vintage was Snoop Goblin Recruiter. So are they green-white Ritual with Gear Hulk? Kind of seems like it. Dude, if we surveil I keep calling it Days Undoing, Echo of Eons into our yard, and then we get to go Bowmaster Echo. That'd be pretty sweet. Too busy daydreaming, I guess. Oh yeah, Limdul's Vault, huh? That just is a card, isn't it? It's not. It's a little bit different, but I've cast some Limdul's Vaults in my time. I'm enough of an ant main. So here's the Pride. I wonder when the fall is coming. Maybe 6 months or so. How long before stock up takes over Modern? It's already here. I do want to kind of play that stock up Primal Prayers deck. Seemed pretty cool. How many scry is one Vampiric Tutor worth? Well, I guess it would be like, I guess not scry 160 times. I don't know. No more scry talk. The new Broken Land that makes spells non-counterable. I don't think it'll see a lot of Modern play. It makes it non-counterable for 2 more mana, but in Modern you can do that for 0 mana with like Beseiju or Cavern of Souls already, and neither of those cards see like almost any play because there's not that many counter spells in the format. But like I do think this card will see a little bit of fringe play. I can't really think of any deck I would want to like include it right now in. I don't think I would probably play it in Amulet Titan right now. I would play a Cavern instead. Not that my opinion on Amulet Titan should matter to you that much. So I think I should crack my clue, because if there's a land in like the top 4 cards of my library, it lets me dig 2 extra cards deeper for the Echo to just win this game. Okay, so here it is. So we would have gotten there. We can still get there if we draw a land. We don't draw the land. So your turn. think it only goes in Cascade, since Besage you won't let your living end be uncounterable, but this new land will be. Yeah, I guess so. I think Cascade is actually like perfect, especially because like you're in those colors pretty often anyways. And like your spells are cheap enough that it makes sense. I think it's points in creativity because it taps for actual color. Yeah. Yeah, creativity is one that makes some sense. I'm not really sure how scared you are of counterspells in general in those decks, but maybe you are. So if they have a land, they should get this Thraben Charm to exile my Echo because they are very dead to it. They're kind of dead to it anyways. Instead, they go for Static Prison. The Adnaw's build didn't go that well yesterday, unfortunately. That was an interesting build. Then they Solitude and they pitch a Static Prison. And then they're going to Ephemerate, and I'm going to force the Ephemerate. They target Tamiyo. Do they know how much danger they're in, I wonder? Yeah, they may not be aware of this Echo. Obviously not a super common play pattern. Opponent says, yikes. Literally Christmas land here. Ooh, baby! So this would have been a 24 power orc. 25, technically. That might be my record. Pretty close at the very least. No, Force is probably better than I think it is. Like getting Ephemerate sometimes and getting Thraben Charm, getting Static Prison sometimes against Frog. Getting Birthing Ritual. GG Sherlock. Okay, go use the restroom. Be right back.
What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring Spike.
Well, that's a good looking hand. I'm going to click the keep button. My opponent has mulled to 6. So feeling pretty good here. What about the new Anafinza and a Soul Cauldron deck? I guess I can't remember the text on the new Anafinza. I do remember kind of raising my eyebrow. There is a lot. There's a lot going on in this new set. Yeah, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, this endures 2. So the payoff with Cauldron is not that this does anything with Cauldron, it's just that it gets a lot of counters on it. Just like, okay, I guess. It's an insane draw. Did we consider... Yeah, we did consider Colosseum. And then we didn't add any. But we're playing Colosseum in a different build. I don't know about Colosseum. It's very painful card, and I don't like to play it in these kind of decks compared to like the mono blue one we were trying earlier. But it might just be good to play a couple copies. Need lands. Just frogs instead. Do I have lethal next turn? So if I draw land, so I can go draw land, discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus 7, so that's 13 plus 1, 14, so 4 short. New Triomes just dropped. Really? What does that mean, I wonder? Joking. Well, I mean, if any set was going to have Triomes, it would have been this one, right? You know, Magic would be a perfect place if... if the Triomes had showed up on Tarkir instead of Ikorum. New Etine combos with Ashaya, Bloodghast Sacklet. Chop chop brew boy, let's get going. Chop chop. Alright, recruit all you like. I imagine they're gonna get a Solitude. They get White Orchid Phantom. I got basics. And then they pitch it to Solitude. Okay. think the backup Echo to play around Graveyard Hate. We have another frog under him. Mara did say we're getting color fixing in a 3-color set, hoping he wasn't referring to the tap lands. I mean, it's pretty vague, like, you know, color fixing a 3-color set. Very, very vague claim. It could mean anything, I feel. Okay, so we got Skyclaved. Seems like I just want to play Frog and then Bowmaster, and then we can untap and win the game. There was a Force of Negation. I think it was Counterspell, Narset, Echo were my options. I was specifically looking for a Force also. Not that Force would have done anything here, but are 3-color cards generally going to be less viable in Modern? Well, I think in Magic in general, 3-color the more colors you add, the less viable they are, but this is the format where you can kind of play whatever cards you want. Nice. So flashback the Bowmaster, or the Echo, triggered the Bowmaster a bunch. You can find all the deck lists, Ashley, in the Moxfield. Thank you, Moxfield, for sponsoring the channel. Maybe targeting the Skyclave is a little bit bad. We might get blown out by Ephemerate. Looks like they don't have it. I think just discard 2 here. Fly Frog before wheel. I was just gonna kill the thing, but I guess it's good to like thin your deck a little bit too of like the bad cards. Something I kind of keep forgetting to do. Thanks for the Twitch Prime, Ashley. What did we lose to? We beat Boros last round. I'm not sure what this was. What this was up against. I'm sure someone in chat remembers though. They pitch a Ranger Captain here. Goodbye, sweet Psychic Frog. Second Bowmaster plus Geier Reach might get some gaming in here. I think we're pitching the Snare. Well, I guess we'll pitch the Indulgence because I might want to go keep Snare up when I go Bowmaster Geier Reach. Could play around Thraben Charm. They didn't Ephemerate last turn. So it seems very unlikely they have 2, but they could, I guess. Also, my Orc army is an 8/8. Oh, hollow one, lost a hollow one, yeah. Hard to remember those matches. Opponent's playing Green-White Ritual, a deck that I thought I'd be playing some of when the new Gear Hulk came out. Ended up playing Gear Hulk in every single other possible shell, except for the obvious one. I just ended up feeling like also the Green Sun Zenith Utopia Sprawl deck is kind of the evolution of this potentially. You drew them 7, so they could have 2. Well, if they had 2, they should have cast 1 last turn and this turn. They should have cast it and saved their Skyclave is what I was saying. Which is why it's unlikely for them to have 2. So they could have 1 because they drew 1 for turn. Like they could have 2 if they just, weren't expecting to do anything on that turn anyways, but they shouldn't have a second one if they're playing well. And in general, it's good to assume, of course, your opponents are playing well. Because if they're playing bad, you're probably going to win anyways. All right, 2-1. Still think Gear Hulk, Birthing Ritual, Yigro would be a cool brew. Have you suggested that before? I feel like I would remember that. It does sound pretty cool. All right, you got the The dragon. Psychic Frog can sometimes just solo Leyline Scion. Did you see the unbalanced rare land cycle? I did see the rare land cycle. I agree that some of them are better than others, as usual. Could have Snare, maybe. I would think if they had Bolt, Binding, or Tribal Flames, they would have used it. But like, I mean, I think we'll play around them having something. Ray of Sickness with the 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, but I don't think it looked that. Like the black one is the best one, I think, because of Ketramos. I think people are really too hyped on the blue one, and you'll see a little bit of play. The one that makes creatures seems to be fine. The Surveil ones, the red one also seems. No one's even talking about the red one. The red one seems pretty good, and I think the green one is kind of interesting because of shifting woodland, having access to like a free Surveil. But they're all interesting with, except for the blue one with Sunken Citadel. I feel only the blue one does anything at all. The black one is definitely like just goes to the Ketramos deck. Like the black one goes in an obvious stock deck. The blue one where like literally like you probably don't play it in Titan. You would play Cavern instead. Like, what deck do you play the blue one in? Yeah, the blue one. So I'm. It's interesting, but yeah, it does seem to me that the blue one is just pretty overhyped. I wouldn't have expected people to be this hyped on it. What is my opponent's hand? They probably have like Stub. I do think they have a Stub. I'm going to discard the Narset. And then I would discard 2 more cards to keep this alive, unless they have another Bolt. So I could go discard. Yeah. I was excited about the Otawara because of the Leyline, being able to bounce the Leyline. I think it's okay. And then we potentially get to flip this Tamiyo for 0 mana next turn. The red and green ones suggest... Do the red and green suggest that Impulse 1 equals Surveil 2? I don't know. I mean, Surveil 2 is pretty interesting in the shifting woodland format. Like you can play Sunken Citadel that activates this card, and it activates shifting woodland. So for me, I'm thinking less about like what's equal and what's not, and more about that exchange. Okay, will they kill my frog or they kill my Tamiyo? Probably should kill the Tamiyo. It's kind of close, I think. Okay, they kill the frog. I'm not sure. It could really go either way. Killing a frog also makes the Tamiyo worse, I guess. It's probably a good reason to do that. I think I'm going to graveyard this since we sure do just want to draw a counterspell pretty bad. Would Tron play the new Ugin? Yes. Yes, it would. That card's really not okay, I think. All right, back to Ragavan duty, Tamiyo. We already drew our counterspell. The new Ugin is mandatory 4 of in every big mana, every Ugin's Labyrinth deck, I think. Card is really not okay. Okay, I'm going to do my very best to not counter anything besides Flage here. I think you played the blue one in control mid-range to beat Mirror. I mean, maybe. So, like, when was the last time winning the control mirror was an important dynamic of the modern format is my, counter to that, I guess. Like, control is pretty fringe. It's getting a little bit more popular, maybe. But just for the most part, winning the control mirror is not a big part of your deck consideration in modern. Yeah, let's keep up Force. We want to be able to force a binding. Yeah, winning the control mirror is not like an important thing to focus on. Okay, there are currently 5 cards in exile here. I think Ketramos is not good in Domain Zoo, y'all. It's just, you don't have enough enablers for it. So, yes, if the control mirror ended up becoming a big part of the metagame, then yes, this card would be good. But it just seems like it'll be unlikely for that dynamic to emerge. I don't think that Ugin is too OP. Tron's mana base is too fragile. Well, the thing is, you don't have to play it in Tron even. You're just going to Utopia Sprawl and Ugin's Labyrinth into it. This is maybe what Wizards is thinking too, is that This is maybe what Wizards is also thinking, is that this card's not an Eldrazi, so it's significantly harder to cast, but you can cast 7 mana spells. But I agree. It is a 7 mana spell, so it's not. I agree that it's probably not going to completely destroy the format. Hopefully. Spike, why is Uro bad, but Flage is fine? Uro is good against every deck. Flage is not good against every deck. Uro is also like I think would be even like noticeably better than Flage is, but like in every matchup going turn 2 off of like Utopia Sprawl or turn 3, Flage, land, Consign, Flage in play is broken. Malevolent Rumble, mill over Flage is like one of the most like dangerous sounding combos. I think that sounds so miserable. Flage is bad against big mana decks. It's bad against combo decks. Where Uro is just like proactively drawing you lots of answers while simultaneously pressuring them. And that's why. Okay, let's bring in the Deluges. I've been like really waffling on the number of consigns I play in these matchups lately. I think I want to play probably 0 Narsets. Which makes me want to play less Echoes. Maybe 1 Narset, 3 Echo, 4 Consign, or 3 Consign. Maybe 2 Spellbomb, 2 Consign, 3 Consign, 2 Echo. Let's try this. Y'all are still way overrating Uro. I mean, I encourage you to engage with any points I make here. Do you not agree that like Uro with Consign and Uro with Rumble and Uro with Fnatic and Uro with Woodland are not like all like really significant buffs to a really powerful card? Do you disagree that Uro would immediately become the best card advantage engine in the format? I think it would be. I think it's better than Ketchamos. I think it's better than Necro. So I think in order for us to have a good conversation about this, I would need a response to one of these points instead of y'all are overvaluing it. If that's not something you want to do, that's fine, of course. I think on the play out might try to bring in the Harbingers. Oh, it's just so bad if they have Leyline though. Uro is also a very unfun card. A card that was really miserable when it was legal the first time. Which does matter. We just main phase this. I had a ton of fun with Uro. I think you can say this about most cards in the modern ban list. The players who played them had fun with them. Yeah, Uro Frog is pretty problematic too. If all the main deck graveyard hate stays in the format because of Ketchup, it's going to be pretty hard to get going. Well, you just consign the trigger. You are main decking 4 consigns with Uro. You just go Uro consign, Uro is in play. And you can do this turn 2. You can discard my hand. Let's not do that. I think Flage is better than Uro. I think it's a fine stance to have, but again, for these conversations to be productive, I need any of my points to be engaged with. Otherwise, I'm not going to respond to you. Okay. I think we keep a push. We don't have an answer to a Kavu right now. Which I think is a fair thing to ask for any of my points to ever be responded to, ever. Yeah, Uro gives you the land drop for Consign the turn you play it on turn 2. Resolves. Yeah, Flage is definitely... I agree, Flage has become a lot worse since the ring has been banned. Like, those 2 cards just played so well together. Alright, I'm kind of low on action. I think I'm going to wait a turn on the Bowmaster here. Nice. I mean, they could maybe go double creature, and I'd want a deluge. Seems a little unlikely. Hopefully they have Ketchamos in their hand. Yeah, so maybe they play second Kavu. If they don't, then we'll play the Bowmaster and plan on pushing this. Titan can kill turn 2, so can Neo Brand. I wish Modern was consistent on what the format is. I mean, I agree with this. Storm can kill turn 2. If we're talking, it's not. I don't think it's good to compare. If this point is that Uro can scam itself to play turn 2, it's not good to compare that to linear disruptible combo, in my opinion. We're going to try the bad Mirror Retriever loops, the new Black enchantment. I mean, it seems a lot worse than the existing Mirror Retriever loops we have in the in our Grinding Station combo decks, but maybe. Yeah, but yeah, Bowmaster's not good against Uro. So what happens if my opponent plays a Scion? They get to haste it, and then I can just Otawara the ley line, and then we win. Or we're in good shape at the very least. Might as well replicate. Yeah, Breach can kill turn 2. But I agree, more consistency and format identity would be something I would appreciate as well. More consistency in ban-unban philosophy too. But obviously Modern is such a weird format, it can be difficult to strive for that. Well, let's bounce the frog, I think. And then they can't hit me with a frog, otherwise they lose the game. We can also hardcast Echo if we draw one. I think Dig is safer than unban than Uro for what it's worth. I mean, yeah, I think this is true, but this is also just because Uro is better than Dig. I wouldn't unban either. Do we have stock up? We have no problems drawing cards. Stock up is legal. Is this just a draw 2? No. Pure Bane with the 28 months. Hope you're doing well. Save this to discard. I think having 8 Heartless Summoning effects in black's gonna be cool to explore. Well, the problem is like this new one just kills whatever you play, but I guess you get the ETB triggers. I'll keep my heart open to this card. I don't understand the stock up Copia. Me neither. I mean, it's fine. It's like it is like a somewhat playable card, but people are definitely going crazy for it. I think we have enough mana sinks here that I'll play this tap now. Do they have another Surveil land? Okay, I do have another Surveil land. It shouldn't be a Flage, because a Flage would be in the graveyard already. And okay, graveyard is a Ketchermos. I guess it wouldn't be, because if their other card was another land, they could play and escape it all at once, which would be a bit better. Okay, let's get a 4-1 prediction going after losing to Hollow One. Got a nice little bounce back here. It is okay. Like, I played some Stock Up. I think Stock Up is a playable Modern card, but I just think I just like to poke fun at how hyped people are on it. A little bit annoying that I can't necessarily turn to Indulgence with this hand. It would be kind of perfect to go Tamiyo, Indulgence, flip, maybe go Echo into, or Narset into Echo, but I think we're going to keep at the very least. I heard it described as 3-mana Fact or Fiction. We get to choose the piles. I mean, there's a lot of little things you can compare it to. It's good is all you really need to know. Okay, so now I can Tainted Indulgence. Let me main phase this so that I can dodge Bowmaster a little bit. Snare as well. Stock Up is very good in Legacy and Vintage, and is probably the best 3-mana card draw spell in Modern. Well, the best 3-mana card draw spells in Modern are Necro and Ketchermos, but it's good. So probably take my Narset here. Up against Black-White. Thoughtseize Bug alive and well. Take the Force, so I can force a Relic. Don't see much reason to force this. We beat Zoo. My opponent takes my Do they have the Relic? No Relic. I draw a Fatal Push so that if they have Bowmaster, I can push the Bowmaster. Nice. They have one card in their hand. It's a new one. I guess we'll minus the Narset. That was the best hit. And I can discard it to hand size, and I can go Bowmaster Echo next turn if I want. Their one card's Felia? Let's go! I think I'm still discarding Echo, but now my Narset dies. The one card is Felia. Sorry, I should have F6'd. Bowmaster Echo doesn't do what you want it to do. I think you're confusing it with Bowmaster Days Undoing. Also, we're in match 5, baby. I think we're pretty clear at how the deck works. You would hope, right? Yeah, learn as we go. But yeah, there was someone who brought that up earlier too, and we talked about that's why we're in on this build. I kind of just want to untap so I don't open myself up to another Bowmaster. Although it seems like with this draw we're clear to just chill for a turn. Sib 6 Ceremony. Is that the Sultai card? Don't know if I love that card. Oh, Sib 6 Ceremony is the Heartless Summoning. I don't know. It seems worse than our other Mirror Retriever deck. This kind of keeps happening with like new combo cards, like with Radiant Lotus getting printed. Everyone's like, Artifact combo back in Modern. And like, I don't know. I've been working on Artifact combo for like years now. And I have several like really good ones out there that I think a lot of people just aren't aware exist. But they are better than the Radiant Lotus stuff, and I think it's gonna. And like, if you want a Mirror Retriever deck, our Semblance Anvil combo deck, I think has got to be better than this one. We'll see. Okay, I don't think we need to counter this. Opponent is just dead to the Echo next turn, so just hold up the wall here. Would you not have lethal Sheoldred Echo? We do, but I think it's a bit safer to hold up the mana here. Like, my opponent could have a Solitude. My opponent has cards in hand and mana up, and I've got counterspells, so typically just good to be patient. Like, we still have the Echo, but we have an Echo with a wall up, so if they have something, we can stop it, and if they don't have something, we win next turn anyways. And here we are. Some triggers on the stack. A little Tamiyo flip in between Bowmaster and Sheoldred triggers. Alright, so we want the Deluges. We want some number of Consign. I think I want none of the Forces. Let's do this. Okay, I was like, I don't love this tap land hand, but I missed the sink into the Stupor, so keep. They do have the turn 1 relic, which is a problem for us. So holding up Snare, I guess, actually only hits Emperor of Bones here, so maybe I would play this tapped. Okay, I think I like the Tamiyo. Gives me a nice plan with the Tainted Indulgence. They did play the Emperor of Bones, but also it's like if they're in on Emperor of Bones here, we can set up for a Deluge. So let's play a Frog. Yeah, I don't believe the fetches are legal in Standard now. So no Ketchamos is great. They're looking for something to use the Emperor on, though. Instead, they keep a card on top. Then they evoke a Solitude. Goodbye, sweet Frog. So a little bit worried about their top card being a Ketchamos. They probably should have targeted this Solitude, I would guess. I guess I shouldn't be worried. I just have the Toxic Deluge, huh? So if I go Tamiyo, flip Tamiyo, yeah, I think I'm pretty okay if my opponent. Well, it is card disadvantage. Yeah, let's chill. If they play Felia, we should let it resolve because of the Deluge, I think. Okay, no Felia. Tap land here. Two cards in our opponent's hand. A relic to pop. They keep not exiling Solitude. Alright, let's go ahead and, I think, clear this up. Still not playing around Bowmaster out of black-white. Might want to start doing that soon. This is a hard discard. Deluge is my answer to Ketchamos. The problem is Ketchamos is really bad for me anyways, but I also have Sheoldred Bowmaster for it. But like if they have Ketchamos, they get to draw so many cards. They didn't have Ketchamos in their hand last turn. I think I'm just going to do this. Cora with the 21 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hear me out. Gifts are given for Narset, Wreck, Echo. I feel like we've done that. Rash with the 44 months. Welcome back. Yeah, I mean, we Nestor do have honeymoon plans. We booked our. We're going to Japan. We booked our flights last week, actually, or this week. No, it was last week. Last week. My brain is a little scattered today. Okay, graveyard this. Wow. I'm a little scattered, a little more scattered than usual, since last night Lucy got sprayed by a skunk and we were up for like 4 to 5, washing her. Thankfully, this is or maybe unthankfully, this is the second time it's happened, so we know what to do. And it's a lot much better this time. Doesn't look like you have, according to Moxo. Sorry, have what? What do you wash with? It's like hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and soap. I think there maybe is one other ingredient I'm forgetting. But we did like 3 times, and she's fine. Alright, so we'll play Sheoldred, and then hold up our mana here. It's nice that we can consign a Solitude trigger. Any Ketchamos card is going to cost them 4 life here. Between the Bowmaster, the Sheoldred, and the Ketchamos itself. We also have a Tamiyo that could ultimate. They evoke a Solitude. If our opponent's hand is... Okay, so let's let this evoke trigger resolve first. Just in case the last card is Ephemerate. The last card is another Solitude. It's an Aven Interrupter. So this is an interesting spot. My Consign becomes plotted, which effectively makes it useless. I think I target the Interrupter in case they make me exile another card on main phase here. But I'm also, I think, gonna... Instead of going for the Echo Bowmaster, I'm going to go for the Tamiyo ultimate, because they have to like exactly draw a Skyclave Apparition or like a Prismatic Ending. Rip replicate value. Yeah, I mean, I think holding up the snare is usually going to be better here, but yeah, we could have replicated to play around this card. Yeah, our loss this league was to Hollow One. Thinking if I want to run it back or play the backup deck. I think let's run it back.